USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Becoming the most valuable sports franchise in the world doesn't happen without risk. A man who's willing to bet it all, and the players ready to make their own luck. America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, is the story of the 1990s Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones's impact on NFL history. Featuring interviews with iconic 90s players and more. Watch America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, streaming now only on Netflix.
Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show. And with me right now, I've got a very special guest. He has worked for numerous wrestling promotions, including the WWE, as well as Championship Wrestling from Florida, amongst many others. Pleased to welcome the one and only Scott McGhee. Welcome, Scott, to Wrestling with Heart. Yeah, so talk to me about your childhood and upbringing. Where are you from?
Now, cooking in Yorkshire, and I grew up with my dad wrestled, so I grew up with wrestling being the number one topic.
So you came from a wrestling family. Do you remember your first exposure of watching wrestling as a kid?
The first medal I won was at the 10-year-old. I went to a tournament and I got third place, but I got a medal. So
That's amazing.
Ultimate. When I was 15, I moved over to America for 2 years. I went to school in Minneapolis, Texas, Oregon, and all through high school I wrestled.
Wow, it's so amazing. You know, getting a chance to be involved in probably one of the oldest sports in the world. And so professional wrestling, was that always something you were a fan of?
Since I was 15 to 17, for the longest time I ever spent with my father. And go traveling with my dad, watching the matches every single day. I understood it, studied it, and I made up my mind that I was going to be a pro wrestler.
Wow.
But I knew that, like, in England, you can wrestle anywhere. There are different ways to be professional. But I knew I had to weigh at least 200 pounds to taken seriously in America.
Yeah, I mean, back then it seemed like you didn't have a lightweight division. It was mainly, being a certain weight and height, you had to, be at a really different level almost,
He being 49 and my prime out stupid thing. I Uh, I was one of the smaller guys, you know, but I managed. I always knew I was gonna wrestle a big guy, so I learned to have my best friend is big guy.
And the thing is, it's good to have that variety. You have your big guys, your little guys, your cruiserweights, super heavyweights. Wrestling just has something for everybody. And you got started in the late 70s. 1978 was when you made your debut. Talk to me about the training process, because I'd imagine it was very, very intense.
My dad said to me, "Do you want to go train with Calico, or do you want to go to school?" Well, at 16 years old, it's a no-brainer. But I didn't realize it was from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So he really he installed in me determination and discipline. And I thought my middle name was Duncan. Uh, now of course I went back to England. I was at the state champion, and I got silver medal in national. And I went back to America when I was 19. Especially to train for the 1980 Olympics. But unfortunately, I started wrestling. I started one the title. So the Olympic race.
It's fascinating. You get involved at such a young age, that 19 years old, and you start training to be a wrestler. You know, you,
Nothing, in professional wrestling. I used to train the body, but I could knock up 1,000 squat anytime. Some close over. And, yeah, I, trained, oh my god, so, I never remember his name. What's that name with Steve Kern? Yeah, I say, fabulous one. Anyway, Rick said to me, being very candy, he said, "Hey, every time, Stanley, that's it, Stanley." He said, "Every time you train a stand, I'll give you 20 bucks." So, of course, I wanted to do it 9 times a week. And, 20 bucks was a lot of money back then. And, that's what I did. I wrestled him on Rick's Reds. And I didn't compete professionally. I just got him in shit. Which was even. It was a big, 240 pound guy. And it's a power, 250 push up. So, he was in good shape. Yeah. And at the time, he was a good friend.
do you recall any pieces of advice that your trainers gave you and still apply to today after wrestling?
One thing there that Buster McGraw told me, he said, in this business, well, when you ever read it, that everybody is a fool. Okay? So I would be foolish. I ran Tiffany, uh, with Evan, so, that we all did.
Well, surely now you learned a lot and have been able to overcome so much and have been able to learn so much since that time.
How much I knew about everything. So, and I was right there, couldn't speak. I couldn't being a kid, I could feel my right side, and I thought, what is happening? So I was living with Dynamite, Michelle, and Bronwyn. Bronwyn was, uh, Michelle was pregnant at the time. Dynamite was wrestling with WWF, and I was wrestling for Calgary Campaign under my own name, Scott McGhee.
Wow. And you got to wrestle for Championship Wrestling for Florida, had a stint in the WWE, WWF in the mid to late 80s. Talk to me about some of your favorite memories you have during your time in those companies.
Tag team ever to win the all the tag team championship. He was 19. I was 20, and I was like the 3 time or the heavyweight champion with Jerry Allen. I believe global tag team champion. Championship. And I was just 20 years old. It's just great turn to be alive. You know, you never think it. You never think it would be.
No, I mean you're young, you're growing, you're trying to figure your way through everything, and um you got to wrestle in the WWF as well. How'd you get signed?
I knew that my career as a captain was finished because Vince uh, monopolized the whole every CD. Like before Vince, he took the Batman in Florida, then the Batman in Minneapolis, then Batman in Oregon. Everything was local. And uh, the friend of mine, Austin Idol, said to me, I just wrestled in 24, and he says, in a little while, the only place to be able to work is for Vince. And I said, "Great." Never happened. But you are correct. Yeah. But I, as a 15-year-old, the and what firefighter accident, uh, suicide telegram, uh, Burn Gang, Burn Gang, Greg Gang, Killer Burpunzel, Super Terror. These are all heroes of mine. And then I got to career. I built the old one. And then up to wrestling. So it was really very, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to work so many people over the course of your career. Who are some of your favorites that you got to wrestle against over the years?
The thing is, I do highlight. One was when I get back to England. Uh, I wrestled superstar Bullet Ray, and I beat in one in literally West Bombay. Now, this is the guy that looks like he's 6 feet tall. Well, I've known Bill since I was 15 years old. He was glad to do it. He was glad to do it. And the other one was when Rick and I wrestled each other on TV. Uh, and I beat one Wonder Woman. And that was unheard of. And, so I had lots of matches, but the two really stick out. was like a Billy sold it down and to
You were part of such a really iconic era in professional wrestling. A lot of people still talk about it to this day, the golden era, the 80s. Any memories you want to share in general of that time?
any had a lot. There were lots of people that that they were around 50 years old. That I just gone from Paris to Paris, and they had lived. It was not unusual that they died from it, and I got to see that, and I got to experience wrestling. So I don't think that there's like other opportunity, to really, really learn the crap. Now it's the day. Ben's like so or like the dolly, but he how can you argue with a billion?
I think the thing is that when you have a lot of places to work, it just lifts everybody up. Everybody seems to do well, and especially in this time period when you got multiple companies and it's accessible, you have those options for not just the wrestlers but the fans get to check it out as well. So, but yeah, I mean the '80s, you got to see a lot of melding, I guess you could call it, because it really was, maybe one or two companies around.
I I left Florida, 21, and went up to wrestle in North Carolina, and that was just a complete waste of time. If I had brought more money, I could have stayed longer. Then I jumped from the fire brand into the fire by going to Oklahoma, and I was starving to death. I mean, only making $300 a week, and traveling thousands of miles. And so I the best way that's like it can be booked anywhere, and he got a book in Pensacola, and that was like returning to ever. The beaches are like sugar, the water is like aquarium, and
Paradise.
is much more burning. And I really, I love Pensacola. But then anyway, back to Florida. I did a little thing with Joe Lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
They put the championship out on me, and then and I did for a couple of months, and then I dropped it in Joe Lagoon. And me and Joe, we used to have grit, but then I was on a guarantee, which was fantastic. If I know now, I'd stick with it. But I unfortunately I got a big up my bonnet, and I left Oregon to move back to North Carolina, and from there I went to Oregon with in it. Me and Kurt were the tag team championships, but to change my name to Irish Pat again, and I could pull up a limit, which means I'm only born 150 miles in Scotland. And McGhee, of course, is my purpose made it. And the wrestling my dad, Florida, he just fought. I thought the Gary fought. So I kept the McGhee, you know, and I always used McGhee because it was my mother's maiden, and she mostly raised me. And yeah,
The cool thing about the wrestling business is that there's a lot of camaraderie, and you get to travel and go to the bars and hotels with your friends and up and down the road, and so you see these people for 365. Hold on 1 second. You see these people like 365 days a year. You're away from your families. Any fun stories you want to share about riding with your friends or being with your friends on the road?
my kids, Danny Piley, up the church that sometimes baby boy, we used to be called the night patrol. So that's what we did. We stayed up all night and fought his patrol, and he was ordered the night patrol. Yeah, Dynamite Kid is my closest friend, and Danny Spivey. Yeah, I did set Danny's mattress on fire. One time, he asked me to leave the room. He could have a bird up there, and when he said I could go back there, stay bed up fire. But he didn't wake up. He didn't wake up. So they got the polyester sheets. He left it. And I ran in and filled up the bucket with water, threw it on the bed. He still didn't wake up. But me and Danny, I just found out about a couple days ago that Danny, I went to Scotland and I got COVID, and I had a flat lung, and I was there 6 months. You know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not only did Danny give $2,500 to help pay the electricity bill, he had I just found out $6,000. So, yeah, to help. Yeah, but I had no idea it said $6,000.
Wow, that's
It's a very traumatic for me. Not talking about the wrestlers, talking about doctors living in a caravan between the hospital caravan. I was admitted 5 times to the ER. I went around with a chest tube. Then I went to Roswell and had the surgery. And when I went to see the doctor, said, "Sorry, Gary, nothing's changed. I don't know if you'll ever get better." Because I didn't have a job, but I couldn't, why? Because he said, my lungs would explode. And I couldn't catch a ball because they were demanding me to be vaccinated. But I was there 6 feet in a freezing wing tent in the middle of a valley. And I used to say, please, he beat me. The gas on the gas fire. and he wouldn't, you know. And yeah, so I yeah. So anyway, big shout out to Danny for coming through, and I'm sure you got to pay $6,000.
Well, I'm glad you're healthy and are safe and are doing well. I mean, it's hard, whenever you're going through something that's such a terrible feeling, getting sick and getting COVID. It is very traumatic, like you said. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that Dan was able to come through for you and help you out during a very terrible time. It's good to have those friends, still, you can count on them whenever you're going through something, and they were able to, help you out when you were had COVID, weren't doing well.
And it was my wife. Lifetime the goal it makes it through the night. So I would completely out of it. I had no manner uh but she and confirm about people.
Yeah, I mean, when you get family and friends that are there for you and they care for you, it's always the best feelings to have. And you know, so glad you're back to good health and you've overcome a lot. Um, Now I want to switch gears. Oh,
That is a beautiful note. And I didn't know you would so upset. Of course I responded. But Billy, I know you're looking down on it. And I love it, Billy.
wow. Um, Unbelievable. It's amazing to have, when you have people that support you and they see what you're going through and they're there for you. It's the best feeling in the world. Um, I want to switch gears and talk about some of the stuff that you've done outside of wrestling. I know you've done a lot of charity work and have been involved with different causes over the years. What kinds of things have you done to help out in your community?
Special friend, Cole Milton, the Hulk, McBride, Down syndrome, and I opened a special efforts. There's a little thing on my Facebook page to me and him arm wrestling each other only a couple of weeks ago. But and that I also work cancer survivor. It's a called Fix the Door. The children, the children, and I was the opposite. Yeah. So I help people say goodbye. I was the care center where the people had zero to do me. So sometimes there are 5 people what's over tonight. And it was very, very real.
It's never good, when we're talking about loss and grieving and people are sick and they're going through a lot. I mean, it's never good to have, to say goodbye to somebody that you love and have been around for a long time. I mean, I'm sure, going through those hallways, it's emotional.
I had a money 52 for charity for tip care. And I got in real good shape. I mean, you can see all my abs. Because most of the guys that know benefits show up when they got big, got old, and show good shape. They free for cycling 30 miles a day to get those abs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you work very hard, and you have that work ethic that you were instilled with, and are disciplined, and you have so many great stories that you've been around so many people and are able to tell, your friends and your family about. So it's definitely worth everything.
The human assassin, it's his birthday there. And the announcer, his birthday, and it's Senator Moore's birthday too. So happy birthday, guys. The human assassin was a big help to me. Because not only did I get to work out with the players, Rick Steamboat, Buddy Rogers, but David spent a lot of time at the human assassin. Spent a lot of time down at the office when he didn't have to come down there, First when he came on the road, tired, but we're the same age, though. He's still wrestling.
It's amazing. It's crazy.
In the ring. Since I ride my knees before this, I don't, no, I can't wrestle.
It's amazing, you're able to keep in touch with all your friends and have this big network of people that you go back and look through these memories, and it's like, oh my gosh, this happened, and all these years later, it's a surreal feeling, nothing like it.
Jody Malenko was the producer that got helped up. He is fantastic. Hookup, shoot, and notice, and what it's saying with him. Bruce Rosen, Al Rosen used to wrestle. Al Bruce and Joe Gomez used to wrestle. They all chipped in for me to get the ticket to Flying Fight to Florida. So
Yeah, it's amazing, nothing like having that support system to help you, go through such a terrible time. But I want to say thank you so much for coming on to the show. Scott, it means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.